And on my YouTube feed, I don't know if it's coincidence, but whatever. I've been getting a lot of early Blade Runner stuff. I guess all of it's early because there's not a lot of it. Not sure what that means. Um, so, can you walk us through a little bit? Um, the Blade Runners. It's 1986.
Mm-hmm.
Sting and the Ultimate Warrior, and Dingo
Yes.
comes here.
Mm-hmm.
But originally it was supposed to be Sting. Well, it comes here, meaning the world class. But originally it's supposed to be Sting and
Both
Dingo
of them.
that are coming here.
Mm-hmm.
And Dad had something to do with that
Mm-hmm.
because they were in Bill Watts'
Yes.
territory. And so take us through just a little bit of um, of that.
Bill Watts' TV was coming in here. It had been, but it was Mid-South at the time. This is when he turned it to UWF. Sting was Flash at the time, and Ding was Ultimate Warrior. Dingo Warrior was going as Rock at the time. They were a tag team called the Blade Runner, sort of like they called themselves the joke was the Maybelline Road Warriors
Hmm.
because they looked like they were freakish, like Sting said, they were freakishly big guys, and they had only
Hmm.
been in the business
Hmm.
because they got into the business Thanksgiving '85, and then they're working, a couple days later, and very, very green. Green as grass, but they had something about them. And I remember Dad was on his sabbatical between Fred Barron, and then coming back to work for Fritz before everything happened with Ken Mantell going back to work for Bill Watts. That TV was coming in here, and it was Sting and Dingo. Sting was a lot bigger at the time physically, but Dingo
Hmm.
dwarfed him. Well, not dwarfed him, but Sting was 260.
Yeah.
He was 280
Yeah.
at the time, and so the TV was coming in here from UWF, and Dad said they both came on the TV. Sting and Dingo. They were Eddie Gilbert at the time, and
Yes.
Dad was like, "I want those two boys, and I want them here." So he reached out. Sting
What
tells
time
us
was Bill Watts' show on here? Was it?
it was on a seemed like it was on a Sunday night
Oh,
at around 7 o'clock or something. I could be wrong, or it
yeah.
could have been a Thursday night. I just remember
Yeah.
it was early in the evening
Yeah.
because
Okay.
he was already starting to run shows here at Reunion Arena.
Oh, gotcha.
Jim Crockett was starting to run shows here at Reunion Arena because by this point in time, we had separated from the NWA,
Wow.
we being world class. And this is right before Dad came back in here with Abdullah because Dad was always thinking, I'm going to come back into a place. I got to come back with something new that they haven't seen
Mm.
before. And he thought that Sting and Dingo would be able to do that. So he said, I'm bringing these two boys here. So Dingo makes his first appearance here. Rock, Blade Runner, Ultimate Warrior, Dingo Warrior. Dad said, the dark-haired one, the bigger of the two, he's here. He's here now. His partner, the blonde, he's coming. So Dad brings Dingo here the first time, does the interview. There's two of them. He's similar. Then he announced what Dingo comes, he works TV, gets over fairly well. How could he not? Then Dad kept saying he's got a partner. His partner's similar. Sting's name was going to be Sacco. Dad thought Dingo, Sacco, that sounds exciting, and we needed some color. So time kept going by, and Dad would talk about Sacco. The Dingo has a partner. His name is Sacco. He's similar. Kept talking about it. Things kept going on, and by the time it was time for Sacco to be here, the guy who was supposed to be Sacco wasn't actually here because Sacco was supposed to be Sting. Now, come to find out, Sting and the Warrior, Sting was staying to work in UWF for Bill Watts to get the money that they were owed, and then he was going to come out here and he was going to be partners because Sting told the story that Dad got a hold of them. He was talking to Dingo, and he said he wanted to bring them both to world class. That's true. Sting was going to be loyal to Dingo, but he also wanted to help Dingo and his wife at the time, who weren't making a lot of money. And the way that it used to work back then is you would work for 2 weeks for the office and they'd hold your check back. And then if you finished up, then you would get whatever it was you were supposed to get. So Bill Watts did not really care much for him. And Dingo took off and he got here before Sting got here. Sting was supposed to come out here once he got the money. And something had happened, but they had a falling out. I'm not sure over what. It could have been a girl. It could have been money. It could have been loyalty, or it could have just been that Dingo just didn't want to be a part of a tag team anymore.
So Sting never tells the reason, or Dingo never said why they had a falling out?
No,
Okay.
Sting just said he had a conversation with him one time, and Sting went back to work for Bill.
Right.
Because he wanted to try to get the money, because Sting was trying to do the right thing. He was trying to show up and make his dates, and he was going to get paid. He was going to bring the money out here, and him and Ding were going to get an apartment together and do whatever they had to do.
Wow.
Sting ended up making the show, and for some reason, Dingo felt betrayed by Sting that he actually would think of actually making his dates and, not work without Dingo being there. And Bill didn't want Dingo anymore, but he wanted Sting, and he was actually impressed with Sting, and that's kind of how it went. But Dad never really knew the real reason. Maybe that was some of the reason why Dad didn't really like Sting that much by the time he finally actually met him. Because I don't know how much Dad and Sting talked during the time when he was talking to Dingo. I know he was talking to Dingo more because he's the one that actually came out here first. But now we're going to fast forward to the night that we saw the real Sacco. Dad gets to the Tarrant County Convention Center, where the first night you're supposed to see Sacco. Dad walks in the dressing room. He goes, "Where's Sacco? I need to talk to him." Says, "Oh, there he is, right there." Dad goes,
"That's not Sting."
Dad goes, "Who is that? Who?" He goes, "Where is he?" He goes, "That over there." And Dad goes, "Where's Sting?" Said, "He ain't coming." Dad goes, "The blonde kid, where is he?" Said, "He's not coming."
Did Dad really call him Sting? His name wasn't Sting yet, though.
It was something.
It was like Forrest Flash or whatever.
Dad goes, "Where's the blonde kid?" Yeah. The one who said his partner. Where is he? He goes, "That's not him."
Right.
So they had a falling out over something, I believe, because Sting tells the story the way I remember. He was supposed to come in here. They were both supposed to come in here, but Sting decided to do the right thing and finish out his dates to get his money, because that was going to help him and Dingo, because neither one of them had anything.
Yeah.
And Dingo took it as an affront that Sting would work without him. And Sting was going to be loyal to Ding. He was going to come on in here. And it would have been nice to say that Dad was responsible for Dusty Rhodes, Von Erichs, Bruiser Brody, and Sting and the Ultimate Warrior. Wouldn't have been too bad on the resume. The resume's pretty strong anyway, but you throw that in there, that's real good.